We get our first glimpse of the big boy from a bridge overlooking the train tracks. You can almost hear the dynamos screaming.
I could have sworn I heard a bell.
Yeah, you did.
The bell came from this Amtrak semi-new Siemens Charger engine brought into position just for the show. Early the next day, we huddled up with a few thousand of our friends. We thought the line was long, but later in the day, it was like 5 times longer, 40,000 people at least. And by the way, how many green shirts can you crowd under a tent on a hot day? We were also happy to know that the Union Experience Museum was open and we would see it, but I get ahead of myself. We, well really me, decided to get to the front of the big boy fast to get close-up pictures before the crowd would build even more. Turned out it was a good decision. With many tons of moving parts, there are glamorous and not so glamorous jobs to keep this thing rolling, just to put smiles on our faces. And great public relations for the Union Pacific Railroad. Purpose-built to haul long freight over the mountains out west, the driver wheels were smaller as compared to larger driver wheels of a high-speed passenger locomotive. More speed versus more power. It impresses me with all the linkage, chains, gears, sliders, moving parts. As a worker once said who was building this engine, wow, that's a big boy, and the name stuck. Weighing in at over 1 million pounds, well, you can see the rest. I wonder who gets paid more, the guy with a bunch of years of service, or if you get paid by pounds of grease on your body. If I had to guess, I would guess it's Ed Dickens, the engineer and mechanic, and also like the overseer of the Big Boy project that brought this thing back to life. He also spent a good deal of time running drinks up to the guy stuck in the locomotive. He also gets the opportunity to drive the big boy, and I have yet to see anyone pry the throttle out of his fingers. Time for a few token photos with the 4014, and then the mandatory stop at the souvenir shops where we find a couple t-shirts and caps to our liking. Now waiting in line for the museum, we can't help but notice the train has at least one Amtrak part. What? That might explain why it was a few minutes late arriving. This guy always seems to manage to get in front of us anywhere I want to go. Anyway, inside was really crowded until a UP guy came in and slowed everybody down and gave us a tour, so we got to see everything pretty good without 1,000 people in front of us. Abraham Lincoln authorized the beginning of the UP, so it stands to reason many famous people wrote it, to include Ronald Reagan taking photos, this guy trying to get elected, and a picture of the train. Logan thought it was funny that the passenger train had an end-of-train device, which usually doesn't happen, but it made him laugh in the picture. All right, with the temperatures hot, time to bug out of here. The line actually grew by 5-fold, and we were told the crowd was 40,000. So we got there early, which was good. So we say goodbye to the big boy, and after a pretty good lunch, we say hello to another big boy. Wow, 2 in one day. At the Transportation Museum, not only did we see a second big boy, we actually got to go inside, fiddle with the controls, and put our hands on the throttle. While the crowds were less, it was more impressive to see the big boy as it actually moves. Well, we closed the museum down, ate supper, some swam while some watched the Browns game. Now it's the next morning. We have a pretty decent spot, we thought at the time, to watch the big boy roll by. But first, a token Amtrak roll by. Sure would have been great if everybody would have stayed back like they did, except for this goofy guy. But no, they couldn't help themselves to mess up my video.
Hope they blow steam on everybody.
I sure wish they had tape up to keep people back, but oh well, we were there. notice the pusher diesel engine was 4015 helping the 4014, get it? As the Pony Express car comes into view. I was able to get a shot where nobody was able to block my view, so
Damn, you guys need to scoot back. You guys can't be right here.
camera came out fine. Small price to pay for the shots. I happened to swipe a few pictures from the UP Steam page, leaving Texas, coming into St. Louis, staying at St. Louis where we saw it, leaving St. Louis as a UP high railer in the gravel chases them out of town, or maybe just paces them to get a great video. Too bad I wasn't in that truck. Heading toward Kirkwood, at the Kirkwood station, and finally somebody's drone shot of the Transportation Museum with the two big boys. The second big boy is at the very top of the picture, the black loco. That's it. Two big boys in one shot. And finally, the 6,000 gallons of fuel in the black tender just doesn't cut it, so they have two yellow tenders coming along for extra fuel, and they also have their own rolling fuel station that meets them at many stops. That's quite the gas guzzler, but still super cool. Fear not, Norfolk and Western 611, we still love you. But this video wasn't about you.